Are you ready to debunk the myth that high pressing tactics are the only way to play in FM? Because I have created a mid-block tactic that could be the game changer you've been looking for. A tactic so effective it not only secured my team an unforgettable 11-0 victory, but also catapulted us to the top of the league unexpectedly. And we also have a European final to play in this video. I'm here to pull back the curtains and share my breakdown on how I won football matches in FM24, and also to show high pressing is not the only way. From the intricacies of a mid-block tactic to player roles and match preparation, I've broken down everything you need to dominate the pitch and leave your mark in the Football Manager history books. So, if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go. It is a common misconception that there's only one way to play Football Manager, but we're here to debunk that notion. We're diving into the topic of achieving success in Football Manager without resorting to high pressure and overly aggressive tactics. And we're going to start with the match preparation, looking at your opposition. When looking to use a sort of reactive system such as the mid-block that we're using, it's always going to be key to look at your opposition before you go into the game. You need to know how they are attacking, but you also need to take note of their weaknesses. So with the Aston Villa save, I was posting on Twitter and posting updates on what I was doing, hopefully to help people on Twitter as well. So before playing Arsenal away, I could look at what they're doing in their previous games. 4-3-3 with two inverted wide defenders and wingers narrow too. When they dribble, they tend to go wide. I reacted by attacking both flanks and looking to force inside, with their key passes also coming from those wider areas. Martinelli was a danger man. Asking my narrow attacking mids to go wide and run wide with the ball also helps with our attacking wide shape. So looking at Arsenal's shape here, they are very, very narrow. The attacking width is kind of fairly wider or wider than the defensive width, but the defensive width, mainly how they build, is very narrow. You can also see their dribbles as well. Whenever someone picks up the ball, rather than running towards goal, coming inside, they're actually running away from goal towards the outside. Now, the opposition could have forced them to do that, or it could also be a tactical plan. So at halftime away at the Emirates, Arsenal had one shot, zero on targets. To be fair, we only had 2 shots, but we are the reactive team trying to close down Arsenal and hopefully get a point with the clean sheet. But then in the middle of the game, of course, Arsenal will be making changes, and I had to react to that change. They made a second half change now, and an advanced forward came on, Eddie Nketiah. I can react by dropping my defense line a little or continue to be brave, but I did drop my defense line down by 1. And just like that, it felt like a tactical masterclass, getting a 0-0 draw away at the Emirates. Their XG was below 1 at 0.56. Balanced mentality using the mid-block. Yeah, of course, we're going to be up against it, but we were comfortable forcing them into things that they didn't want to do. So looking at the match momentum, it was all sort of Arsenal, but we were happy. They weren't creating anything from their momentum. And then you can see in the next game, we played Fulham at home against obviously weaker opposition. Our mentality at the bottom is at balance, but we did start the game at positive towards the 70th minute, 75th minute, again being reactive, trying to get that clean sheet. I did drop my mentality down to balance. So another clean sheet. A bit fortunate because Raul Jimenez did miss a penalty in the 10th minute. That was their only shot on target, their only chance created. And then up next, we came up against a new challenge. Zinedine Zidane has just taken over Manchester United. A day later, I've got to play them at Old Trafford. So of course, I have no idea of what Manchester United are going to do. I might actually get an idea simply by looking at the manager's profile. And here I can see that he holds a high defensive line, which I reacted by with the goalkeeper distribution, trying to kick it over to the defense line, and he likes to play a 4-3-3. If he wants to attack us, then he's likely to go with a 4-4-2, and he likes to control possession. That's all I knew about Zidane's Manchester United at that moment. This game was a lot more open than the game at the Emirates. As you can see, Manchester United now have 4 shots with 1 on target at half times. In this game, I was trying to force them centrally, but it seemed like they were actually enjoying receiving the ball centrally from my line of engagement, but no meaningful touches were happening inside my own box. So these are Manchester United's passes received in the attacking half, kind of clumped out on this left-hand side, which is fine by me, but you can also see here centrally as well. It seemed like they were kind of happy to receive centrally, but not inside the box. As you can see, the box is fairly empty. But the game ended, and it was a tough one. In the end, from around the 75th minute, I just had to soak up the pressure in the end and actually go to a low block. But that was then our third clean sheet in a row. So now we had played Arsenal away, Fulham at home, United away, next was Liverpool at home. And this is another example of why you should be reacting in Football Manager to help you get those points. So at halftime, it was 0-0. Again, Liverpool, no shots at goal or on target, no meaningful chances at our goalkeeper, but now we can see their shape off the ball. Diaz, their left winger, is very, very high compared to Mo Salah. So it's looking like there actually could be some area to expose. So we have contained Liverpool so far. Looking at Liverpool's off the ball shape, we can exploit their left winger's high positioning. I then look to focus down the right, but also with the goalkeeper distribution, I did try and get him to kick it long to the right attacking midfielder in our 4-4-2 shape, and hopefully he could drift out into those wider areas receiving those long distributions. And then in the second half, this happens. So we are trying to focus the play now down the right. Cash kind of pulls out their left winger. The left winger is very high again. Ramsey gets the ball. A little fortunate there, but a little double up on their left back. Watkins drives into the box. Far post cross into DRB, pulls it back, and then goal. Jacob Ramsey. And that completed our run of 5 games without conceding a goal. So now in FM, being Aston Villa, again, we've got Manchester City coming up. How would I look to defend or react against Manchester City? So what I would simply do is go to Manchester City, of course, go into their schedules, go into their last game, which was against West Ham. Now, in my skin, it is analytical data down here at the bottom. Click on that, go to teams, click on Manchester City, average positions. I tend to go to starting 11 here and then opposition or average position with the ball. For me, it is kind of obvious that they are using a libero with number 3, which would be Ruben Diaz. And when using a libero, of course, the only logical thing to do next to him is use an inverted fullback. So for my guess straight away, Ruben Diaz would be the libero and then Kyle Walker would be the inverted fullback. Now, there might be some space to exploit through the middle, especially if the other central midfielders are using roaming roles like Mazzala, advanced playmaker, or I could actually attack down the flank because Walker can be a bit disjointed from the right winger and there might be a little bit of space to attack down that side. Now looking at their shape without the ball, again, you can kind of see the space in the central areas for us to actually attack, but the right hand side looks very, very unorganized with the right winger very high and the right back very deep without the ball. So this is something probably a lot of us wouldn't look at, especially when using a high pressing tactic. We aren't looking to react against the opposition, but just looking at Manchester City's key passes, it does look like they're all coming from those wider areas. I mean, that one clearly is a corner from Jack Grealish, but then you can also see where those key passes were received. So here in the middle is the middle of the pitch. Of course, you can see down the right hand side, only one down the right hand side and only none down the left hand side. All the key passes though were the destination of the player doing the key pass, if that makes sense, is in the wider areas, and of course the player receiving that key pass would be in the central areas. So what I can do is actually stop crosses in my tactic. Rather than force wide or force inside, I can stop crosses, which would open up my defensive width, but it would try and engage in those wider areas to stop those key passes. Another thing as well, passes received. You can look at passes completed, but I've started actually looking at passes received where players are actually receiving those passes. And again, you can split the pitch from defensive half to attacking half to the middle. So if I just look at the midfield passes, voila, all the passes received, that is where they're receiving their passes a lot in that middle. Again, backing up that theory earlier of them liking to play in those central areas. From defense as well, the defensive half, of course, they are building out from the back, so we will look to try and stop that. And again, a lot of those passes in the central areas, which makes sense if they are using inverted wing backs and inside fullbacks. Lastly, in the attacking half, no difference. A lot of the passes are in that central area. So there is something that can cause a bit of a headache. Now I can try and stop those key passes by stretching the defense line and us defending in those wider areas, but with a lot of passes received in those central areas, is open up our defensive line the smartest idea? Maybe, maybe not, but we do have two holding midfielders that can kind of help protect that central area. So this is where you can put that into practice, sort of focus down the right hand side. I also did notice actually against Manchester City, a lot of backwards passes. They are patient, so we can actually just force them, push them up a little bit and step up more. Prevent that short goalkeeper distribution as well, because they will like to play out from the back and we don't necessarily want to invite that. And I also said stop crosses. I don't necessarily have to trap outside, mainly because of our narrow formation. Now this obviously isn't the completed tactic, but I will set these instructions and see how we get on against Manchester City. So here we are in the game against Manchester City. We are going to focus down the right hand side. We are going to push up, step up more and stop those crosses as well, and hopefully we get the win, or at least a draw and a good defensive performance. So here's Matty Cash, Buendia, Diaz off, nicely cut out there by Manchester City, but here's Konsa, Douglas Luiz, Alex Moreno, just runs into Walker. So I did notice, actually, I'm attacking down the wrong side. I'm supposed to be attacking down the left hand side. I just noticed that by Walker on the right hand side, by the way. My gosh. But I guess we can attack both flanks if they are using that inverted fullback on the other side as well. There's Moreno. It's a long shot and that's gone into Edison's hands. Here's Matty Cash with a throw-in. Buendia, Matty Cash, Kamara whips it in. Ramsey, Moreno, surely. Oh, what a save. How? What? Douglas Luiz with the corner, whips it in, and it's tipped over by Edison as well. Edison is having a great start in this opening 10 minutes. Hopefully we don't lose this game because of the Edison performance so far. Whips it in again and Grealish just heads it out. It's falling to Diaby though. He hits it. Oh, we've just hit the woodwork. What is going on? The opening 10 minutes have been absolute flames. Heads Douglas Luiz, whips it in, Pau Torres, and that is 1 goal for the Villa. Up the Villa, boys. We deserve that for that opening 10 minutes performance. Oh my God, I couldn't believe we haven't scored 2 by now. Douglas Luiz whips it in. Pau Torres gets his nut on the ball and it's gone past Edison. A great start. Hopefully though, we haven't woken up Manchester City. It's been an absolute fire opening 20 minutes for Aston Villa, but Manchester City are now getting into the game. Torres throws himself in front of the shot. Exactly what we want. Now here comes the Manchester City pressure, which we hope to deal with. So it is 1-0 at halftime. Now it's all on me at this point in what I do in terms of the team talk and making sure my team are ready for that second half. So I'm actually going to point my fingers and I'm going to tell them, I hate this part. I hate this part. Now we are the home team. You know what? I'm just going to tell them the pundits might not believe in us today, but the fans do. So go on and prove them, because we are only in our second game as well. So let's not hope for too much. So let's go into that second half. They have got Haaland as an advanced forward. Let's keep an eye on that because our defensive line is very high. We're also stepping up as well. Oh no, here comes the Kevin De Bruyne. Come on, keeper. There we go. Martinez. That's exactly what we wanted from you. Command in that box. He kicks it long. Oh, we've won the header. It's Watkins, he's through. Oh, this Edison. My God, man. It should be 2-3-0 to Villa, but this Edison in goal was just absolutely insane. That should have been a goal. And that is what we actually want. So let's go back at... Oh, it's a shot! It's another... This is ridiculous. Edison is absolutely mental. As honestly, if we do not win this game, we know why we haven't won this game. But I do want to go back a little bit because there is something that I do love about this, and it's the direct football. Again, when you're using mid-block, you might not necessarily want to play out from the back and be all fancy. Sometimes it is just taking advantage of their off-key shape, which their shape is off-key. We kicked it towards the right-hand side. Where's the left back? The left back is he's nowhere to be seen. De Bruyne loses the header and we just get in straight in from behind. Oh, I can't believe this flipping goalkeeper, man. It's another corner, I guess, but I have no faith. At this point, I have no faith we can actually beat this goalkeeper for a second time. Rodrigo heads it out and there's Garvio on the run now. So it might be the case of just trying to... Oh, Buendia lobs it into the box. No counters, no counter attacks, please. Ramsey, let's go. Douglas Luiz. We've got to get that second goal, man. Here's Kamara, Cash. Take advantage of that right-hand side. They are a bit weak down that side. He's offside. It's a penalty. Well, I thought Watkins was just way offside, but apparently that... Oh, no, I forgot about VAR. Penalty awarded. Oh, my God. That was off. I don't think that should be a penalty, but please, man, please, please, please don't let justice be served. Douglas, oh, he smashes it. Let's go up to Villa 2-0 against Manchester City. They had an easy game against West Ham and we said no. We said no, you're not coming to Villa Park for an easy game, just knocking the ball around the park. And here we are, 60th minute, hour gone. Manchester City have only had 4 shots, 2 on target XG of 0.31. Look at our XG. Okay, take away the penalty, but we still should have been around 2-3-0 up anyway. And it's 2-0. So we are around now the 70. Getting to the 80th minute. They are putting some pressure. Oh, wait, we've got a corner. They've knocked it out. Buendia, Diaby. Cash. Dougie. Oh, this goalkeeper. So what we are going to do now. So what we might want to do actually is tell the boys to be a bit more disciplined and slower down the tempo. See, I like being brave. I don't necessarily like changing my defense line too much. Haaland hasn't caused us any problems. I mean, Haaland only needs 1 chance, 2 chances to score 2 goals. But do we need to prevent them to stop building? No, we can keep it like this, I guess, but we can change some player roles so we can make our fullback on defense. Here's Douglas Luiz with another corner. I thought I was going to Pau Torres instead. There's Diaby, Douglas Luiz, Cash. Let's go! Let's go! Matty Cash, 25 yards out. I've just put him under defensive duty as well, but it does not matter. It's Aston Villa 3, Manchester City 0. I mean, just go home at this point. Just go home. Douglas Luiz lines it up for Cash at the edge of the box, and we've still got a European final to play. Oh my God, are we actually going to get to that? Of course, after this game, we will be showing the tactics. So fresh legs, I think fresh legs is all important. The stuff that I'm doing in game is going to be very important for you as well. So hopefully you are watching at this point and not just watching the tactical bit, because if you're just going to download the tactic and not do this stuff and put this stuff into practice, then it's very unlikely you are going to get similar results. So we are going to program fresh legs, but players that aren't actually match fit. We're going to bring on Diego Carlos now as the ball winning midfielder, kind of the centre back as a defensive midfielder at this point, trying to get that clean sheet. Now at this point, the clean sheet is more important than anything. 4 minutes to go. Oh no, don't get countered. Mings. I just said don't get countered. Diego Carlos, fresh legs. Douglas Luiz, does he get there with his tired legs? I'm not sure. Here's Kamara. Here's Matty Cash now. I'm so excited. I don't know why. It's only the 2nd game of the season. McGinn, Zaniolo. He just picked up a good space there. Mings. Oh no, I've left Mings on attack. Yes, Pau Torres, let's go. Kamara, Zaniolo, Watkins plays a through ball to Mings. Mings now driving out. Oh my God. You've got to be kidding me. Oh, what a fire game. What an absolute mental game. Edison played a 7. I mean, he deserved an 8. Let's be honest here. And we've got a convincing 3-0 win against Manchester City. That puts us 2nd now. Palace are top of the table. But, whew, that should have been 4. It should have been 5. But what we are going to do now is look at the tactics that actually got us that result. So if you did just come for the download tactic, the link will be in the description below, but I feel it is best for me to break down the tactic and tell you why I've got certain roles and certain instructions. Again, this should be helping you be able to achieve somewhat of a successful mid-block with your tactic as well. You don't necessarily have to use this tactic, but I will tell you what I did to achieve this. So first of all, make sure you go and check out this SI thread from Crew. I will post the link in the description below, but this was a heavy influence on the tactic creation in the first place. I was in my little tactical mode. I wanted to create something different than what I've posted, and reading through this thread, I mean, it's easily to be inspired. Again, this is important because you might pick a formation expecting certain things which you may or may not get. So in SI, I then posted myself how to improve tackles won. So I created the mid block 4-4-1-1. That's what the tactic started out originally, and the results were fine. We were first, we were flying, but what was bugging me a lot was the tackles won ratio. Why was our ratio so bad? And what I did come to the conclusion was that our players were just too far away from each other in my system. So like I said in the post, it happened around 85% of the times where we got the ball, we won the ball, but we had nobody around. So Pellegrini wins the ball, we have nobody around in close proximity to pick up that second ball, which then counts as a tackle loss. And you can go through this page again, the link will be in the description. We was going through it. We've got other people as well, so people like Cloud9, and there's other users that were trying to help me. We was trying to get this shape specifically. 4-4-2, very narrow, very compact, full stem, out wide in guide play. But this kept happening. My wingers were wide, so this centre back here can just play it into midfield, into that half space, where my fullbacks and wingers are very wide, leaving these empty gaps in midfield easily to play through. And here comes the second image again. Now the ball's on the other side, we've got two wide players marking one wide player, and there's just two players here, three. We should be narrow, forcing play into this player here rather than already being there. So the right mid should be in the central area here, and Ranieri should be like, I've got no one else to pass to. Let's pass to the winger. That's our trap. Then we go in, close and press. Another example, the winger in the 4-4-1-1, he's just too wide for my liking. I then switch to a 4-4-2, a natural looking 4-4-2. Still, just didn't work. Our right midfielder, so we've done some nice work here. Look at my right midfielder here. He's way on, the ball's on this side and he's all the way on the far side. I had a bit of a light bulb moment. I went to Atletico Madrid, noticed that there's no real great wingers. Okay, the William brothers are great wingers, but I would rather play them up front for our fast counter-attacking mid-block tactic. My head, why not play sort of a box formation then? And then hopefully our attacking midfielders will drop into those wider areas when we're defending. And voila. Look what's happened. This is the shape I wanted to achieve. Rather than Raul Garcia being on this left back here and far wide, I want him to be in midfield. Same with this midfielder here as well. Now we have a 4-4-2 narrow and compact shape where we can force the opposition into those wider areas. Now this GIF might not be the greatest viewing at the moment, but you can see the defensive team working hard. The red team, we are working hard in our defensive block, not allowing Osasuna through the block. This is actually the game where we won 11-0. Look at those blistering counter-attacks. And yeah, here is the result. Atletico Bilbao 11, Osasuna 0. And here again is me posting examples in game of our 4-4-2 block, and I've highlighted in circle on yellow, in circle as well, of our left attacking midfielder who is acting as a left midfielder, and he's not on the left hand side marking their right back or right midfielder. He's in the midfield of the pitch as a team moving and shifting across. And then we came to the conclusion we've accidentally recreated Unai Emery's tactics at Villa. How did this guy even know I was testing at Villa in the first place? So yeah, that was funny. It turns out we've accidentally recreated Unai Emery, and here you can see our shape in possession, sort of a 4-2-2-2, or you could say actually 3 at the back with 3 midfielders here and then 2-2, similar to what I was shown earlier. And then out of possession, again, you can see the nice 4-4-2 block, force them wide. Well done, guys, which is what we did. They actually forced wide, and Moreno there went and intercepted the pass. So that is sort of the tactical analysis of the mid block, why you should actually react, what happens when you do react, like the Manchester City game. And then I've also broken down why I've chosen the shape that I'm going to show you. Rather than just using a 4-4-2, we are using a 4-2, just to say a 4-box-2. That would just be so much simpler. Now, let's go and look at that tactic in FM. Now, it would be hugely appreciated if you could check out the Patreon and consider supporting myself and this channel. So I do want to give huge thanks to Laxative, what a name, and also Savit. So I don't actually want to butcher his name completely, so we're just going to leave it at that. Thank you for joining the Patreon, hugely appreciated. If you can join the Patreon, that would be hugely appreciated. If you have just come for the tactic download, the link will be in the description below, but in order to help me help you, it would be better if you did listen to some of this at least, so you can understand the thinking behind the instructions, the roles, and well, you understand why the shape already. Some of us might know a little bit about rest defense, which is mostly actually in attacking instructions. When you are attacking in your attacking flow, you need to think about your rest defense. How can you stop a potential counter attack? Most teams will use 3 defenders at the back with 2 midfielders, or they could use 3 midfielders with 2 at the back to try and stop the opposition from counter attacking. But when you are thinking sort of defense first, now you have to think about your rest attack. So when you are defending, now you have to start thinking about your outlets. Let's say I'm in my mid block and we're defending. Hey, let's defend, guys, let's defend. We've won the ball. Now we have to think about the next move, which tends to be your rest attack. Now this could be either the attacking midfielders coming to receive the ball, but then again, once the attacking midfielders receive the ball, what can they do? How can they progress? And really the main focal points will be the 2 strikers. When we break, I want to use the lightning pace, the strength of Watkins as well to counter attack. At Bilbao, we had 2 very pacey strikers which killed it. Williams, the brothers, they absolutely killed it. At Aston Villa, another reason why I picked Villa is because they're pacey strikers, where we played Leon Bailey up front, we played Diaby, and of course Watkins. So let's start with the strikers, because that is the rest attack. On the left hand side, we did just use the advanced forward, which was Moussa Diaby. If we look at his profile, pace, off the ball, decent finishing and dribbling. And then secondly, the pressing forward, which was Ollie Watkins. Of course, we know work hard and just a decent all-round striker. Just behind them, I did set up with 2 attacking midfielders. At Bilbao, it did start with the advanced playmaker on the left-hand side, which I felt was a bit unpredictable, both in possession and out of possession. So I went with 2 attacking midfielders, which they would kind of just be in that little area there, the attacking midfield, the midfield area, especially when defending. And what they will do is thread passes. So rather than running forward trying to get into that box, they're going to thread passes, which we need into our pacey strikers. Behind the midfield, we do have a ball winning midfielder on defend, trying to break up play at any given time. But also why the ball winning midfielder on the left hand side is sort of important is because our left back is a fullback on attack. So let's say he gets further forward to help the attack, we need our ball winning midfielder to stay here and win the ball in these areas, which you did see against Manchester City actually, when Tyrone Mings took that throw in and I said please don't get countered, and I noticed that Mings was further forward. Who was there with the fresh legs to win the ball back? Diego Carlos, our ball winning midfielder. So that is why the ball winning midfielder is important on the left hand side, and then next to him is a defensive midfielder on support. The right back is a fullback on support, so he's just going to support playing in any way that he wants. These 2 sort of work in tandem, so he's just out wide and he gets further forward. That is sort of our presence on the right hand side rather than just the one player. And then at the back, we do have a no-nonsense central defender, which is rarely used. Now, one thing that I did notice is that you can't actually ask him to ease off tackles. So I'm guessing ease off tackles is sort of his thing. Next to him, a ball playing defender. These are 2 sort of defenders that can play the direct ball, but in different ways. He might just pump it forward if he's under pressure. That might be good. So we can draw in the opposition, get it to the no-nonsense centre back, boom, pump it forward. And then the ball playing defender, of course, we know he can bring it out. He can play more expansive passes into midfield, diagonals, whatnot. And then lastly, in goal, the super keeper on support. As usual, there are different variations. So let's just look at the normal one when we are playing those home games, Bournemouth, Fulham, whatever it is, the majority of the games. This is what it's looking like, the positive mentality. We still want to be kind of reactive. At Bilbao, we did have 61% possession. So, hey, pass the directness, we left it in the middle. We absolutely don't mind the direct pass, but we don't want to be slightly more direct. Again, for me, that just becomes a bit unpredictable, but also our shape. I don't think it suits that direct pass all the time because we don't have no wide wingers that we could also use as an outlet. Tempo is on higher, and then lastly, hit early crosses to try and take advantage of any unorganized defenses when we are on a break as well. In transition, there is no instruction when it comes to possession loss. You can actually use counter press. Counter press isn't necessarily an attacking instruction. So if I'm defending in the mid block, sometimes it actually is important to try and win the ball back after losing using it, but we're just not going to use that because it was detrimental to this system. Sometimes when using these instructions, it does also depend on the shape that you are using. When possession has been won, we are going to counter attack, and the goalkeeper is going to take short kicks to the left side of centre back because he's the ball playing defender. The right centre back is the no nonsense one. Lastly, out of possession, we are operating in the mid block, high defensive line. I did often use much higher, actually, step up more, and that was our instructions. Now, when you're up against teams that like to play out from the back, of course, prevent that short goalkeeper distribution. Now, when playing away against the big sides, I did notice a lot of the times they was just using inverted wing backs and inverted fullbacks with inside forwards, and this was sort of my go-to fix for that. So that's the go-to fix, but again, you might have to tweak it because Liverpool didn't play the same as Manchester City. A slightly different variation at Bilbao as well, so sometimes the league is a bit different. The left back is a wing back on support or automatic, passing directness now on shorter with the tempo on higher. And then at Roma, just a mini test, it was very effective using actually Lukaku as the advanced forward and then Tammy Abraham as the poacher. But that there is the tactic broken down. Again, the link is in the description, but let's have a quick look at the results that we got using this tactic, and then we will be playing that European final. So with Bilbao, we won the La Liga, winning 30 of the 38 games, and in the Copa del Rey, we did lose in the final to Barcelona 2-0. The top two goal scorers were Nico Williams and Inaki Williams. I did tell you that the brothers absolutely killed this season, and statistically we were amazing. We had the best press in our own half. The average defensive line was quite high, which we were expecting, but the average the most possession, sorry, we were third with 59%, not 61 like I said earlier. And we can also see with the most clean sheets and the fewest conceded, Bilbao and Bilbao. At Aston Villa, we came second to Liverpool, 4 points behind Liverpool in the Conference League. That is the European final that we have to play. In the FA Cup, we got knocked out in the fourth round by Arsenal, and in the semi-final by Leicester in the Carabao Cup. And it's a similar story. We did score actually the most goals, but we also had the most clean sheets and the fewest conceded. But now we do have to play West Ham in that cup final, so let's get stuck in. So West Ham did actually win their last game away at Everton. We're going to look at their average positions with and without the ball. With the ball, it is very narrow, and without the ball, it's actually still very narrow, but there are some spaces actually between their two wingers. So we could sort of build narrowly and look to attack in those central areas as well. Now, West Ham are sort of a reactive team themselves, so I could actually look at where they gained their possession to try and get the upper hand. Looking into the midfield, so let's look in their midfield. They gained a lot of possession in the actual central areas. So our team will naturally recover a lot of the ball or gain possession a lot of the times, especially if there's a long ball and they could just win their header. So that might be one of the reasons why, especially if you start looking at these players, it's the centre backs as well. Gomez there. El Nene doing a lot of work. Edson Alvarez, who I believe plays centre back as well. For me, because West Ham aren't necessarily a build-up side, I'm not sure if it's going to be very important actually to then look at their passes. So they actually, in this game, they only completed around 344 passes or 326 passes. So clearly they're not a possession or highly possession based side. But what I will look is how they create this. I'm gonna look at their dribbles. So again, the dribbles is looking at the dribbling into those wider areas, and then looking at their key passes. The key passes come from the wider areas, so it looks like they're dribbling their way into those wider areas to then put in a cross. Who their target then will be, they had Tyrese Campbell, who is decent actually at jumping but no good heading. But against us, Mikel Antonio is playing, and he again is not the biggest player, he's not the biggest. So do we allow those crosses or do we just leave it? I think we're just going to leave it for this game. So the initial tweak for this game is actually to have a fairly narrow attacking width and look to focus through the middle and see how far that can get us. So we have an early booking actually. Here's Gomez on the ball. Ooh, looking to pass it into Alvarez. Here's Ward-Prowse. Zuma now playing right back. So a fairly defensive system they've got here. Here's Moreno intercepting the pass. Here's Douglas Luiz, Moreno. Oh, come on, Zani. Come on, Zani. Kurt Zuma again. Jared Bowen. Who's that? Douglas Luiz going forward there to press. He plays it out wide to Johnson. Sufa. Was that Cornet or Sufa? We've won the ball back. Oh, there's Gomez on the ball now, the centre back. Here's Johnson. Oh, he just skipped past. That's just too easy. They're going into the crossing situation. They've scored. They've scored from running down the wide area and just crossing the ball in. But we do have a free kick ourselves. Kamara over the bar. Wait, it's a penalty. We've been pushed. I should start Douglas Luiz flying inside the goal. I do want to make an early tactical change because they did just run out wide and then just cross the ball freely. So we will want to, you know what? We are going to trap them outside. So we do want them to continue doing that. No, we're just going to stop crosses. We're just going to stop the cross. We've got a penalty though. Hopefully we can equalize here. I would have liked a clean sheet, but that's a fairly disappointing goal to concede there. Very disappointing. But penalty awarded, our second penalty today. Actually, we did get one against Manchester City. Here's Douglas Luiz, the same penalty taker. Hopefully he can repeat it and he's hit the post and it's gone wide. So here's Gomez looking to kick it long and it's intercepted by Moreno. Here's Zaniolo now. Skips past Zuma like he went there. Here's Diaby attacking through the middle now. Here's Buendia. Goes wide, runs wide. Diaby, oh, that's a lovely goal. I think it's an own goal actually. Valentin Gomez with the own goal. And it is now West Ham 1, Villa 1. We have actually scored without having a shot on target. Here's Douglas Luiz now. Alex Moreno. And if I should stop it here for a moment in case they actually counter-attack, look at Jared Bowen. I mean, Douglas Luiz can cover here, but Jared Bowen, he's just free. And it feels like Moreno might be a bit too advanced. Zuma wins the ball, loses the ball, wins the ball, loses the ball. Here's Moreno. Here's Kamara. He's going for a long shot, ain't he? That's not in. That's over the bar. I will actually ask my fullback just to support a little bit. Just to support. The momentum have swung totally our way so far with their early goal. I'm still gutted about that goal conceded, because that goal conceded is sort of the plan, right? Force them out wide, and then once they're out wide, they've really got no option. We should be clamping that fullback running down the flank. So we do have an injury, Zaniolo. We are going to bring on Jean McGinn or Yuri. We're going to bring on Jean McGinn. And we're going to kick off that second half. Kamara actually is nervous, so I'm going to go to Kamara. Point finger. And I've got faith in you. And you know what? I'm just going to do that to the whole team. So not much is happening in the second half, but we do have a throw in here. Alex Moreno. McGinn. I thought that was another penalty. Diaby. Why are we missing these chances? Here's Areola. Kicks it long, looking for Bowen. So they're clearly not building up from the back. Buendia. Oh, Phillips has won the ball, but Buendia wins it back. Plays it into Cash. Buendia to Carlos. Carlos now into Matty Cash. Douglas Luiz, please be careful when playing in the central areas because it's also a risky place to lose the ball. Why that pass? Well done, boys. Well done. So Moreno on support was in a good position there to actually recover the ball again. If he was any higher up, we could have been in trouble there. Pau Torres. Here's Moreno. Pau Torres. Kamara. Torres. Moreno. To John McGinn. What a touch. Here's Diaby. Hard and low, please. To Watkins. Oh, there it is. That cannot be offside. If that's offside again, I'm going to be so upset with Diaby this time because he just took too long to play that pass. That cannot be offside. Please, no, Lord. Goal awarded. Thank you. Thank you, VAR. VAR's on our side with the penalty and now the offside decision as well. But Diaby, what took you so long to pass that, son? What took you so long? So now we have to start looking at some sort. Oh no, here comes Antonio with the. Yes, oh no, it's falling to them again. Yes, John McGinn, let's go. I knew I should have brought you one over Yuri. Here's Buendia. But here's our counter-attack now. We've got to watch. So one sec, let's just watch our team here. Make sure we're not. Well, there's too many players forward. Matty Cash is forward. Antonio Ings is up top. Pau Torres. Alex Moreno, Matty Cash, Kamara and Douglas Luiz. I don't know why my defense midfielder on defenders inside that box there. Here's Watkins. Now what, before we actually regret it, I'm going to go to Matty Cash and we're going to use no-nonsense fullback. And we're just, yeah, that's what we're going to do. We put the ball back in the box. It's Moreno, it's 3-1. It doesn't matter, likely. It's now 3-1. We have put Moreno on support, but it doesn't matter. He still gets further forward. And where's the highlight? Where's the highlight of that goal? Where's the replay? I've turned replays off. I mean, I've turned replays off. Here's Moreno, here's Diaby now. Plays it back. There's a big smile on my face because we are about to lift the trophy. Here's Kamara, plays it out to Buendia. Now Villa are just showing off. It's Villa are now showing off their flexing their muscles, and they're having fun. Now the replays are on. Let's have fun. Let's have fun and watch it. Matty Cash is a bit reserved, watching out for that run from, who's that? Bowen. So now our rest defense is looking good. Forget about the rest attack. It's the rest defense. It's 4-1 to Aston Villa in this final. And despite their very good XG chance in the first half that could have scored, they haven't really created any high chance. It's Pau! It's Pau! It's my Pau! It's my Pau! It's now 5. It's West Ham 1, Aston Villa 5. This is turning out to be a rout. It's a good save initially from Areola, but then Pau Torres picked up the rebound. And let's look at the chances again. Look, their XG is very, very low. And we're going to study that a little bit actually at the end of the game, because we did make that change about stopping crosses. And there we are. Aston Villa are now European champions of the world. That don't make sense. European champions of the world. But we did win the Conference League. I'm so happy. I'm so happy it played out like that, because after the first goal, I was a bit worried. That Mohamed Kudus goal, I was a bit worried. And champions, ole, ole, ole. What a win. What a team. What a team. So that sort of wraps up the official end of that season, because I really wanted to play that cup final with you guys. And it is West Ham 1, Aston Villa 5. So this is what I wanted to look at. So at the beginning of the game, we had no stop crosses, right? So they did complete 5 crosses throughout the whole game. They received 5 crosses throughout the whole game. That was throughout the whole 90 minutes. Now, remember, they scored in the 6th minute. Around the 8th, 10th minute, I did make that change of stopping crosses. So they went from 5 completed. Now, if we do look at from the 10th minute, it's only 3. So they completed 2 crosses and received 2 crosses in the opening 10 minutes. And then after that, it was only 3. So I'm not going to say that the stop crosses just worked just like that, but I do believe that we worked harder as a team in stopping those crosses in the first place. And if we do look from the opening 10 minutes, when they did put in those crosses in, you can see that we had no crosses intercepted and no crosses blocked. Now, it's the opening 10 minutes, so not a lot of game or a lot of football has been played anyway. So it's very difficult to, again, say that this has happened because of blocked crosses, but we have now intercepted the cross, we've blocked the cross, which may happen during the game anyway, but West Ham just couldn't complete any more crosses. So we might be putting them under more pressure. Again, ignore the corners, but we might be putting them under more pressure when they're in those wider areas, therefore forcing them into more bad crosses rather than just outright blocking and stopping crosses. But people, honestly, that is one of my favorite videos, if not my favorite video that I've recorded so far in terms of the actual content that I'm giving you. I feel this is a lot more educational than, hey, download my tactic, which is always the sort of plan anyway, to be a more educational than a quick plug and play tactic. But I do feel like this video in particular has some very, very useful information and a lot of key information that you may not have noticed, which I came across. For example, using the 4-4-1-1 just wasn't good enough for me, in my personal opinion, to defend narrowly. So this video was a great eye opener, especially recording it as well, because looking at Manchester City again and looking at West Ham, it's all on the fly. It's not pre-done already. It's all on the fly. These things can change. For an example, West Ham earlier when I played them, they never had Sean Dyche as the manager. Sean Dyche has only been the manager for 9 games. So it's a new experience and it was done on the fly, which is very, very enjoyable and rewarding, which is the whole point. Playing like this can be incredibly rewarding. But unfortunately, that does wrap up today's video. If you haven't yet, make sure you like this video, leave a comment as well. That helps with the algorithm. But also, if you can afford to support us on Patreon, please do support the Patreon. I'll see you guys soon. Stay safe, God bless, and peace out.